Very good. Okay, so we start. Remember, you can sit into any comfortable position. It could be cross-legged. It could be sitting on your heels. If you want to have a support, I like sitting with my hips a little higher, even just sitting on the edge of something. So it doesn't need to be super high, but if we find the edge, this usually helps just the pelvis to rotate a tiny bit. It's not huge, but it feels more, yeah, supportive. Okay. Make sure we start with a soft jaw. Maybe yawning. Okay. And then I invite you to really make this position stable. Maybe this means sensing the sitting bones on the ground, sensing if the weight goes equally to the right and to the left, sensing if the spine can be long here. And we're just going to start exhaling, bringing the chin to the chest, really letting the back of the neck open, elongate. And then as we inhale, we do the opposite movement, looking slightly up, and then exhaling, chin to chest. Imagine you have the space of a mandarin behind the neck. So whenever we inhale and lift, we're never going to crunch the neck completely. We always leave the space of a mandarin behind the neck. And then exhaling, chin to chest. Let the movement start from your lungs. So imagine as we inhale, lungs expand. Imagine you need to lift your chin. And then exhaling, lungs make space again and chin to chest. And we're going to expand this movement. Still exhaling, chin to chest, and letting the back round. If you're sitting cross-legged, you can bring your hands on your knees and really hang here. So really letting the spine round at the back. And then inhaling, we're kind of rolling to the front of the sitting bones. Don't arch too much. If you have tension here, you can let the neck come up again, and then exhaling, taking all the space to round. You can imagine inhaling from the sitting bones, like inflating the torso up to the head, and then exhaling, chin to chest, and rolling down. We do it just one more time. Exhaling, rounding. Okay, and we're coming back to neutral. And observe your spine, now that we're back to neutral. Where does it go back to? Is it long? Is it supported? Is it arching a lot? See if you find a place where you can really lengthen here. Okay. From this place, we're going to start moving into the sides. Okay. So we start again from the neck. The shoulders remain where they are. We're going to inhale at the center and just bring the head into one side. I'm bringing the head above my left shoulder and exhale when I come back. Inhaling, lifting, going to the same side. The shoulder remains here low, away from this ear. We're just opening the side of the neck and exhaling center. Inhaling one last time and exhaling. And then we're going to inhale into the other side. Exhaling to come back. Inhaling, we're first growing tall and then opening to the side. Exhaling, and one last here. And exhaling. Okay. Check how your spine is doing here, how our sitting bones are balancing. And we can open our arms, fingertips touching the ground. We're widening this movement as well, inhaling up, bringing this arm and hand really as far as we can to the ceiling and opening to the side and exhaling to come back. And we're alternating here, inhaling, reaching up, and into the side, and exhaling back. The movement is simple. Observe what happens to the lower back. When we're moving into the side, we're going to avoid arching as we move. We try to keep a long spine, and we're just moving from left to right without letting the spine arch or round more as we move. We also keep this image in mind of length. So it doesn't matter how much we go down, we really try to remain really high with this hand. It's pulling us up to the ceiling. So even if we lifted this lower hand, this would be possible. We could do it without a hand on the floor. Really go high and then opening this side of the spine and exhaling center. Okay, we just do one last time. Okay, and reaching back to the center. Okay. We can bring back our hands to the knees. And we're going to move the torso into these 4 directions that we've done. So we've been opening towards the front, opening towards the back, opening towards the right and the left. We're going to link them together. So you can imagine drawing a circle with your heart, maybe coming forward, then into one side, rounding at the back, and then moving all the way into the other side. The rib cage is moving, drawing a circle here. And then changing direction. And making the circle smaller and smaller to reach back to the center. Okay, good. Let's move towards the floor. We're going to come supine with the back on the floor. Have by your side a pillow as last time. You're going to use it as a support. And if you found something like a belt, have that ready as well. Okay. So we come down, and I invite you to start really lengthening your body. Also in this supine position, you can lift your arms, bring them above your head, and imagine or sense your feet and hands pulling into opposite ways, becoming really long on the floor. And then we're going to move our feet all the way to the right and our arms as well, opening the body on the left side. It's like a banana shape. And then coming back to the center and moving to the other side. So feet go to the left, hands also go to the left. And we're opening this other side. Okay, good. We bring our feet on the floor. Take a moment to adjust your pelvis. So maybe sense that your feet are not too far, knees on top of the feet, lower back long. Maybe this means lifting your pelvis and bring it back on the floor so that you really sense the contact between the lower back and the floor. Okay, same with the head and neck. You could lift your head, bring the chin to the chest, and keeping this length at the back of the neck, head back to the floor. Okay. Arms can be alongside the body. Exhaling. Sense again your belly button coming lower towards the floor, pelvic floor gently activating. And as we inhale, we let the belly fill and expand, and exhaling, condensing. Inhaling, and next time we exhale, sensing the strength from the core and pressing down with the feet slightly, we start lifting our pelvis. Inhaling, pelvis on the ground. Exhaling, belly button in, pelvic floor active, feet pressing on the floor. And we're making our way to bridge again. Each time we exhale, lifting the pelvis a little higher. Always inhaling from the floor, exhaling, pressing down with the feet and lifting. Until at some point we find this alignment of hips, knees, shoulders, chin to chest. And maybe you want to keep moving up and down from here. Maybe you want to stay longer in this bridge pose. Shoulders down, away from the ears. Sensing the strength of the feet on the floor, you can lift your toes and spread them. Okay. And then exhaling, slowly unrolling the spine on the ground. Okay. We're going to use the cushion again to come into a supported version of bridge. If you are not sure, if you sense this brings tension to your lower back, you're welcome to stay on the floor on this level with the pelvis on the floor instead of the cushion. The cushion should be safe, but it needs to be placed correctly. So it's really not too high. If it's too high, it brings an arch in the back. It's quite low. It's the lowest half of the glutes. This sensation of having having the tailbone pointing up towards the knees, lower back really long here. Okay. And this is where you could use the belt. So one option that we practiced last time was to have a cushion here between your knees. This time I'm going to invite you to have a belt around your legs, around you, like taking both legs. So if it's a scarf, we're going to place it around the thighs. Make sure it's firm enough. If you're using something like this, it's firm enough for the thighs to pull apart. So they're giving their pressure into the sides here, and the belt is supporting this. Okay. This is one option. You could also practice with the cushion between the thighs, as we did last time, or you could also try without any support. Okay. Maybe as we start, if you have a belt, you can bring it lower to your hips, and we're going to start with the two legs independently. So starting really easy, lifting one foot off the floor, bringing the knee to the chest, and exhaling, slowly bringing the foot back down, and alternating from side to side. Remember here, we want to control the legs from the abdomen. So if you want to sense again these muscles that we were trying to activate last time, inhaling, you can lift one foot, and exhaling, we can sound something like, and this activates, some of the abdominal muscles. Inhaling to lift, exhaling. You can try with or without sound once you find the activation. If this movement is really easy, you could try to crisscross 2 feet. So having one foot lifting, and then one lifting and the other one coming back down at the same time. Whenever a movement feels really easy, try to slow it down a little more, to control a little more from the abdomen, the movement of the legs. Okay. And if this is still easy, then you can place either the cushion or the belt around both thighs. Okay. And you could try lifting both legs together and exhaling, slowly bringing them back down. chin to chest. Okay, we do 3 last times. And exhaling, feet back on the floor. Okay. We can remove the cushion if you have your pelvis on a support, remove the belt or anything else that you're using. And here, let's all come with the knees close to the chest. We can stay at the center or also roll a bit from side to side. Okay. We find ourselves back in the center, long neck. The spine is gently rounded. We bring arms down alongside the body, flex our feet. Inhale here, and as we exhale, we lift the heels up towards the ceiling and inhale to soften down again. Inhaling, reaching up with the heels and exhaling down. Okay. If you still have the belt by your sides, you could bring it around both feet or the scarf, adjust the length, and you could have both feet lifted, reaching up towards the ceiling, and keep your feet here. It's important that the lower back stays on the ground, I mean the pelvis. Okay. And then exhaling, releasing. You can bring our feet on the ground, take any movement with your legs, maybe bringing one knee away and then the other. Stretching with the sides of the pelvis. Okay. I'll prepare to move from here. We can roll into one side and then move up to sit. We're going to prepare a bit feet and hands before we go into all fours. So I invite you to sit on your heels, feet parallel, space between the toes, one hand on each knee. I'm shifting the weight on one side and lifting the other knee and moving from side to side. Another way to do this movement would be to have hands on the floor, pressing into the hands and lift the pelvis here, stretching both feet. Okay, good. Now we go into the opposite stretch, tucking the toes under here. Maybe sitting on the heels or remaining a little higher, shoulders soft in any case, arms long in front of us, and here we stretch finger by finger. This is also really nice for carpal tunnel and tendon issue. Taking the time to stretch each finger and then the whole wrist upwards and downwards. Same with the other hand. And the whole wrist. Okay. Good. You can release hands, also release feet. You can shake a bit, feet and lower legs on the floor. And we come into this all fours position. So again, you can make a fist here to make this more stable for your wrists. Or also if you just want to move them a little bit, bringing the hands a little bit farther in front also helps a bit with this curve here. So see what works for you today. Knees as wide as the hips, feet in line, hands below the shoulders. Exhaling, rounding, chin to chest, pressing down with the hands. And inhaling, coming into the cat-cow movement. Here as well, if you have tension in the back, there's no need to overarch. Stay somewhere neutral. Maybe you can lift your head and chest. And exhaling, take all the way to round. Exhaling fully. You can stay here for today into this cat-cow movements. Or you can add a leg, moving into tiger. So as we inhale, same movement for the spine, and we add one leg reaching up like a tail. And then exhaling, same movement for the spine, and bringing the knee towards the forehead. Inhaling as we open, and exhaling, rounding. One last time, exhaling, and back to the center. Okay. If you want to shift a bit the weight away, you can bring some movements from bringing the weight towards the legs and back to the arms. Okay. See if you need to adjust the position, and then again, we're going to start from cat-cows, exhaling and rounding, inhaling, opening. And when we're ready, if we want, we can add the other leg. Still, the movement starts from the pelvis. The spine follows, and the leg is just something in addition. One last time. Okay. And reaching back to the center. Okay. Let's shift the weight back to our legs. If you find the floor is too hard, take something like a blanket you can put under your knees. Become softer. From here, we're going to come higher on our knees and open one leg at the side. I'm starting with my left foot out, and more or less the arch of the foot is in line with this knee. Okay, then I'm looking at my hips and I'm trying to bring them parallel to the ground, trying to find this place of balance. I'm also looking at my lower back, making sure I'm not overarching here, tail pointing down, the back remains long. Okay. Good. This left hand can stay on the sides or belong next to the knee. We're going to inhale into the right hand, same as we did before, becoming super tall, really reaching up and then moving into the side and then exhaling to come back. Inhaling and exhaling as we come back. We could also decide to stay reaching really high, then opening to the side. Make sure your neck is also comfortable here. And exhaling, reaching back to the center. We can come down into the side. So right arm comes on the ground. The left foot could remain on the floor, and we could lift the other arm above the head. We could also keep the arm on the side and exhale, lifting the left leg and coming back on the floor. If you're moving up and down, one last. Okay. And then reaching back towards the center. Okay. If you're sensing any tension in the lower back, take a moment here to come to the center and to round into child's pose. Elongating the lower back. Okay. And feel free to come back here and to stay. Whenever you're ready to move into the other side, same starting position. Now I have my right foot on the side, same adjustments. So arch of the foot in line with the other knee, two hips. I'm checking how they're oriented, try to have them parallel to the ground. And I'm checking that my tail is not lifted, but that I'm pointing down and lower back feels long here. Okay. Once I have this side in place, adjusting the right arm this side and inhaling up into the left hand, super high, and opening and exhaling to come back. Choose your version, choose your rhythm. Maybe you keep moving in and out. Maybe at some point you feel you want to stay into this lateral opening. You can choose also how far you want to go, always protecting the lower back as well. And then exhaling back to the center and moving into the other direction. So this time, left hand comes to the floor. The right foot could stay here and we could lift the right hand or bring it above the head, or we could keep it on the side and exhale to lift the right leg. Inhale when we release. And exhaling one last time, reaching back to the center, and we can all take a moment in child's pose. Forehead on the ground, letting the spine round. We can have arms long above the head, or our hands could be next to the feet as well. And if you can sense your belly expanding against your thighs, maybe you can sense even where we are inhaling here, the lower back is also expanding. Okay. From here, I invite all of us to lengthen our arms. So bringing hands on the floor above our head, as far as we can reach, but keeping the shoulders low, down away from the ears. Okay. We keep these hands in this position. Lift the head. Okay, observe if they are symmetrical, if you need to adjust. And then come into this all fours position. Bringing knees a bit wider, as well as the hips, feet in line. It's likely to be a bit wider than the all fours position we had before. We start from here, tucking the toes under. We're going to move from this position. Okay. I invite you into a variation of a salutation, let's say. We start from here, inhaling as we did before into the cat, cow, exhaling, rounding, inhaling back to neutral. And as we exhale, shifting all the weight to the back and lifting the pelvis into Mervasana. Inhaling, your choice. You can bring your knees to the floor and come back to neutral, or you could just shift your weight and come into plank, giving the weight to the hands, becoming really long. Your heels are pressing back. Okay, here we are inhaling And exhaling, reaching back with the pelvis again. And inhaling, we all come back. Knees on the floor. And exhaling, coming down into child's pose where we started. Okay, we're going to repeat this salutation a few more times. Inhaling, slightly arching, exhaling, rounding, pressing down with the hands, inhaling to neutral and preparing, exhaling, reaching back and up to Merwasana. Inhaling, coming forward, maybe plank or maybe knees on the floor. Exhaling, reaching back, Merwasana. Inhaling, knees on the ground. And exhaling, rounding into child's pose. Inhaling, reaching forward, opening. Exhaling, rounding. Inhaling to neutral. Sense here as we inhale, we try to keep the belly active. So we are inhaling to the rib cage, but without arching. We keep the lower back long. And then exhaling, reaching back and lifting the pelvis up to Merwasana. Let's take a moment here. See if you need to adjust your feet, the distance. Remember here we can keep the heels a bit lifted. We can we can bend the knees. We really want to focus on the length of the spine. So hands are pressing into the ground and the sacrum is reaching back and up. Inhaling, either reaching into plank or knees on the ground. And exhaling, back to Merwasana. Inhaling into all fours and exhaling, rounding in child's pose. One more time, inhaling, opening, lifting the head, and exhaling, rounding. Inhaling from neutral, exhaling, reaching back and lifting into Meru. Inhaling forward, glutes active if you're into the plank, and exhaling, reaching back and up again. Inhaling, knees on the ground, back to neutral, and exhaling, rounding into this child's pose. Okay. You can untuck the toes and come back from here, unrolling the spine, coming back into Vajrasana. Okay. Let's prepare to come up to stand from here. Any transition that you like, or if you want to pass through the squat, here I'm tucking my toes under again, hands next to my knees, and pressing it down with my arms, shifting the weight. Knees remain bent, coming here into Gajasana, elephant pose, with the pelvis higher, knees bent, feet at hips distance, neck is relaxed. Inhaling, pressing down with the feet, and unrolling slowly, keeping knees softly bent. We move up and down a few more times from Gajasana to Tadasana. Exhaling, knees remain bent, chin to chest, and imagine your spine becoming passive, becoming really heavy from the head, vertebra by vertebra. You can stay here also a few breaths if you want. You can do yes and no with the head. Make sure the neck is free. Knees are bent. You can bend your knees enough so that the belly is in touch with the thighs. And sometimes it can be nice to stay here. Here, gravity is actually pulling the spine longer as we are upside down. And whenever you want to move back up, knees are bent. We're pressing down with the feet. And imagine inflating from the feet to the legs, vertebrae all the way reaching up. And exhaling. Taking the whole inhalation to inflate up and the whole exhalation to roll down. And inhaling one last time to move up into Tadasana. Reaching into the shoulders. We can inhale to the front and up and exhale back and down. Or exhaling from the mouth if you want. Changing direction, inhaling from the back and up, exhaling front and down. One more time towards the back. Okay, good. We come to watch our feet on the ground. They're at hips distance, they're parallel. Toes can be wide. You can even lift them, spread them. Okay, and you can sense again if the weight is well distributed between left and right, between the front and the back of the foot. Sensing where you feel it centered. Keep your knees gently bent, just a tiny, tiny bit. Okay, good. And from here, we should just play a bit with the weight, lifting toes, lifting heels. You can also add your arms. And come to inhale on the tip of the toes, hands up, exhaling, arms reach back, and we come on the heels. Okay, and if you want to stay, we can press down with the big toes, keeping shoulders soft, fingers active. We're going to keep arms up where they are and exhaling, come down the heels, bend the knees, coming into suspended pose. Again, it's not a very big bend. Make sure the spine remains long and sense this elongation. It's like the arms are a prolongation of the spine reaching up and the sacrum keeps pulling down. The jaw is soft. Okay, and inhaling, reaching up. On the knees, exhaling, releasing arms into the sides. Okay. Shoulders down. We can always inhale to bring them up to the ears and exhaling, really dropping them. One last. Okay, with this length at the sides, we're going to lift arms parallel to the floor. Okay, see what works for you. Maybe hands a bit more to the front or a bit lower. You're going to sense the stretch a bit differently. You can play with this. We're going to flex the wrists, fingers pointing up towards the ceiling, shoulders soft. It's like we're pressing between two walls here. Long arms. Knees soft. And then fingers pointing down, pointing towards the body. We can group them together and we can even twist the wrist a tiny bit towards the back. Okay. Shoulders remain low. Relaxing hands again. Rotating one shoulder towards the back and the other to the front and alternating from side to side. If we had bent elbows, this movement would look like this. And we can do the same with long arms. Still starts from the shoulders and it goes up to the hand. Okay. Inhaling with both hands in front of our face and exhaling releasing. Okay, good. Let's take a moment here for another exercise for the lower back, actually for awareness of the pelvis. We're going to bring our feet a bit wider. I would say shoulders distance, feet are still parallel, and we're going to bend our knees. So hands come just above the knees, fingers can point outside or they could point in. And shoulders here can come a little up towards the ears. You can let your neck be soft as much as it feels comfortable, okay? And here we're just trying to move the lowest part of the back. So really imagine that you could just move your tail pointing up and pointing down. So when we point down, we're really rounding here, and pointing up, it's a slight arching. We're not going with the whole spine. So this is not like cat-cow movements. It remains much lower. It's really this lowest part that moves, so bringing this awareness here. It doesn't need to be coordinated with the breath. Okay. And last time, exhaling, tail down. And from here, releasing, unrolling, and coming up to stand. Okay, we keep this awareness in mind, and we're going to stretch a bit the front of the legs. If you want, I invite you to go next to a wall so you can stay for support. Here I start with my left foot on the ground, and I grab my right foot with the right arm. I'm not pulling here, I'm just holding the foot. Okay, so first from here, I'm going to bend the knee on the ground. For me, I'm bending the left. Then same as we did in standing, I'm going to bring the tail down, really rounding the lowest part of the spine. Then extending the knee on the ground, extending left. And with the right knee, I'm trying to pull down. I want to bring this right knee down to touch the floor. So I'm not really pulling here with my arm. My arm just keeps holding, but I'm feeling a stretch here in front of the right thigh and right hip a bit. Okay. And then releasing from this side. Going to the same movement on the other side. So here I have my right foot on the floor. I'm grabbing my left foot. Arm here is long, just supporting. We're moving in the same way, bending the knee on the floor, then tail down, rounding, extending the knee on the floor, and then pressing down. This time it's my left knee that wants to reach the floor, wants to push down. Okay. Releasing from this side again. You can release both feet. If you've moved from the mat, you can come back here, and we can come to the front so we can have some space behind us. Okay, we start from Tadasana, feet parallel, at hips distance in front of the mat. And we're going to roll down into Gajasana. So knees bent, exhaling, chin to chest, rolling down, bend your knees enough. So this time the belly can be touched with the thighs, and also the hands, fingers can support us from the ground, or fists. Okay. From here, I'm just shifting all the weight on my left foot, and I'm lifting my right foot. It's like my right heel goes towards my glute and coming back. And then other side, give my weight to the right foot, exhaling, lifting the left foot off the ground and releasing. And I keep moving from side to side. I remain here, my belly remains in touch with my thighs the whole time. I'm just shifting the weight to one side, lifting the free foot and coming back. Okay, when this stage becomes easy, we're going to take a longer step towards the back. So from here, I'm giving all the weight to my left foot. Exhaling, lifting the right foot. Inhaling, long step back. As long as I can, and then I just exhale. Bring back the right knee at the chest and right foot down. And same on the other side. Exhaling, lifting the left. Inhaling, long step back. And exhaling to come back to the front. Inhale from the center, exhaling, lifting the right. Inhaling, exhaling to come back. One last time on each side. Inhaling, long step back. Exhaling. And again, exhaling, lifting. Inhaling, long step. Exhaling to come back. Okay, you can take any movements here from Gajasana, maybe bending one knee more and extending the other. Make sure the neck remains soft. You can still do yes and no with the head. Okay. From here, from Gajasana, keep your hands in touch with the floor. So bend your knees enough. We're going to inhale, coming into a squat, extending. Imagine you can really lengthen your spine here, and then exhaling back into Gajasana. Just a couple more times. Inhaling from the squat, lifting the heels, knees go up towards the ceiling, long spine, and exhaling again. One last. Inhaling and lengthening, and exhaling. Giving the weight of the spine in Gajasana. Okay. We come down in the squat one last time. This time to transition back to sit. And then to lie down on the floor. We're going to go into a side twist and then remaining for Shavasana. Okay. As we do at the beginning, whenever we come to lie down, make sure lower back is comfortable, neck. Okay. And then from here, I'm lengthening my left leg on the floor and I'm bringing my right knee at the chest. Hugging here. And then I bring my right arm open to the side. So left hand on the opposite knee, I bring it away from the body as far as I can. And then I bring it towards the floor on the left, so across the body. The knee is not going to come all the way down to the floor. Keep my shoulders grounded, sensing the stretch here at the side of the sacrum, really, the lowest part of the back. The head can stay at the center, or I can look at this right hand on the floor. Taking a few breaths, especially into the belly and the lower back. And exhaling, the head comes back into the center. We can hug the right knee, hugging now also the left knee, letting the spine round on both sides, and then preparing to extend for the right leg on the floor. Here is the left arm that opens into the side, right hand on the left knee. We'll bring it away from the body as far as we can reach. And then bringing the right knee towards the floor across the body. Shoulders grounded, looking up at the center or maybe towards the left hand on the floor. Inviting again the expansion into the belly, into the lower back. And exhaling, reaching back to the center. Choose any variation where you're really comfortable. You want to stay for a couple of minutes. Just breathing. Remember, if you have tension in the lower back, maybe you want to keep your feet on the floor, knees bent, maybe knees leaning towards each other. Or you could have your legs long on the floor, but take a blanket or cushion to support your knees. This helps a bit. Lower back as well. And you can keep your eyes open or closed. You can yawn. Or maybe you open and close the mouth just a couple of times. Maybe you can sense the parts of the body in touch with the ground. Maybe it's a part of your feet and legs, part of your pelvis. Observe which parts of the back are in touch with the floor. Shoulder blades, maybe a part of your arms and hands. And observe the length between your sacrum, each of the vertebrae up to the neck and head. Imagine each time we inhale, the space between the vertebrae becomes a little bit wider. It expands a little bit. And as we exhale, these spaces relax. So we keep inhaling, lengthening these spaces, becoming a little taller, and exhaling, releasing. And with the next breath, we exhale a little deeper. Making space for a deeper inhalation. You can stay longer in the position where you are. Or you can bring back movement to the body. Until you sense if you want to come to sit. You can roll into one side. And come with sitting bones on the floor again. Using any support that we need, any cushion. I can always sit cross-legged, on our heels, on a chair, any position. If you can find again this balance this very center we're looking for at the beginning, between front and back, between left and right, the place where the spine feels longest. And invite you to close the practice with one arm that you can join or listen to. Arms into any position that you would like. I'm going to bring them in the mudra of the heart. So I bring my left hand on my chest and right hand on top. Taking a full inhalation into the belly, rib cage and chest. And exhaling chest, rib cage and belly. And inhaling for the arm. Inhaling one more time, opening the arms, lifting up, and exhaling to the center. Thank you.